Hello everyone, if you don't know me already, I'm Tara, the dance doctor. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about dance floor etiquette, addressing some questions that I get frequently from my students and online. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first point that I'd like to make in this video is very important, that social dancing is a conversation, it is not a lecture. So I get questions from my female students a lot about what they're allowed to do when they're dancing, when they can do a shine, when they can add adornments into their dancing, because they feel as though they aren't allowed to do these things because it'll mess the leader up. And a lot of leaders think it's my way or the highway. And I would just like to debunk all of that in this video right from the get-go. Dancing is a conversation. The leader will give a lead and the follower responds to that lead. But she also has the ability to add her adornments in, and the leader has to respond to her in turn. I don't like it when leaders kind of have a set plan in their head and they're very rigid about it, and even if the follower isn't keeping up with him, he just kind of continues with his plan. So I do think it's super important when you're social dancing to get a feel for your partner's level as a leader before you start to lead more advanced leads. And then of course, if she is not able or didn't follow a lead correctly, it's in my book taboo to stop and try and explain the move to her. You want to keep going. As a leader, you're always trying to make your partner look and feel good. So that was my first point. I wanted to make sure I got it out right away because for me, that is the most important part of dance etiquette, that dancing is a conversation, that you adapt to your partner, both the leader and the follower, and really be engaging with the partner that you have chosen for that song. It's not a one-way street, it is a two-way street. So adding on to my last point, this is for followers because 98% of my students are women. I get asked a lot about shines and when they're allowed to do shines. And my rule for that is anytime that the leader lets go of both of your hands, if he leads a free spin and he's not holding on to you any longer, you are allowed to start dancing by yourself and go into a shine. And leaders, you have to respect that. With your follower, if you let go of her and she starts to dance by herself, regardless of what you had planned in your head for the next movement, you're going to allow her to dance her shine at least 16 counts before you pick her back up. And followers, don't be afraid to be bold and do that. Yeah, that's your space. You are allowed to take that space to dance by yourself, and you practice your shines a lot. So you should feel comfortable and confident doing that if he lets go of you, so that you can really take advantage of that time to express yourself on your own and practice what you've learned. Another thing that I frequently get asked about, both from my men and my female dancers and students, is the etiquette about when somebody asks you to dance and you don't want to dance with that person. I used to say yes to everybody because I just wanted to live in a perfect world where everybody would dance with everybody, but that's simply not the case. And there's a few points that I want to address on this. One is, as a female dancer, there are certain men that make me uncomfortable to dance with for various reasons. Either they're not proficient enough in their leads to the point where I feel like they're pulling my arm too much, or they're not respectful of my space and the rhythm of the music. And so I will say no to those people because my body is my life and my livelihood. So I will just respectfully decline their invitation, and usually what I'll say is I'm taking a break, or not right now, or I have been in the middle of a dance with somebody when I didn't know that they didn't know how to dance, and then it became apparent that they didn't know how to dance, and they were hurting me. And so in the middle of the dance, I just said, thank you very much, but you're hurting my arm, so I'm going to go sit down now. And so just like with all things, as a woman, I think it's important to express yourself verbally if something is making you uncomfortable or making you feel unsafe. And there's nothing wrong about that, as long as your responses to people inviting you to dance or to people dancing with you are respectful and honest. There's nothing wrong with speaking your mind. And I have had men come up to me and try and pull me out onto the dance floor and say, I don't know how to dance, teach me something. And I say no. And I say it very clearly, but I'm always respectful, and I'll tell him the reason why. I don't teach on the dance floor. I go out to dance for fun. I teach for a living. That is my profession. If you want to learn, you can come pay to take a class with me. So I'm very clear so that people don't think I'm being wishy-washy or rude, or I only want to dance with advanced dancers. I'll always dance with a beginner as long as they're respectful and they're not causing me harm. But to that point, if I do need to decline somebody, I usually just say I'm taking a break, or I'm going to use the bathroom, or why don't you try dancing with my friend? If it's somebody that I like dancing with, but I'm tired, or I want to dance by myself for that song, there's a lot of reasons I might decline. If I'm out with somebody, I might suggest another person at my table that they can dance with. Like I said, as long as you're being kind, it's important to do what is best for you. You do not have to dance with anybody that you don't want to dance with. On that same note, I know that the majority of my subscribers are women, but if you are a man that is watching this and you do put yourself out there to ask a woman to dance and she declines you, please don't take it personally. There are a lot of reasons why people say no, and so it's we understand that you're making yourself vulnerable by putting yourself out there, but please don't take it personally. There's always or most of the time, there's more women than there are men, or more followers than there are leaders in any given dance club, so I'm sure you will find a ready and willing partner in another space. I wanted to say one more thing, which is I'm talking a lot about men asking women to dance. Women, of course, we are welcome to ask men to dance as well. Please don't feel embarrassed or shy about that. Like I said, dancing is a conversation, although generally the man is the leader and the woman is the follower. That's not always the case, but a lot of times it is. That doesn't mean that you can't ask people to dance. And if you're out at a dance venue, people go there to dance. Yeah, they might also be doing other things, but generally if they're there, it's because they want to be dancing. And so you'll be surprised, men will probably be very flattered and actually probably a little bit relieved that you asked them, because as I mentioned earlier, it is a vulnerable space that men have to put themselves in to go over to a woman and ask her to dance, especially if he doesn't already know her. So please don't be hesitant to ask men to dance. My student Barbara, who I'm sure is watching this video, I admire her so much, because every time I go out with her, she, without hesitation, she'll go up to the best dancer in the room and ask him to dance. And because of her attitude of just kind of being open and asking anybody and not being offended if they say no, she's gotten to dance with some of the best dancers. And so I feel like as followers, sometimes we deprive ourselves of those opportunities because we're waiting for somebody to ask us, and they might not ask us for a multitude of reasons. And so just don't be afraid to put yourself out there, and because you will, more likely than not, get a really great dance out of it. That's basically all I have to say. I'll just finish with this. I always say thank you to whoever I've danced with, no matter what their level is, no matter whether I really, really enjoyed the dance or it was just an okay dance. I always make sure that whoever I'm dancing with knows that I'm grateful for the opportunity to dance with them. So that's basically all my thoughts on this matter. I hope it was helpful for you. I hope it addressed some of your doubts about dance etiquette. Of course, my rules won't apply to all people. Some people might disagree with them, but these are the rules that I use for myself when I'm dancing and the ones that I teach to my students. So, as always, you can leave a comment below and let me know if you have another question that you'd like answered in next week's Questions Answered video. And until next time, keep dancing.